Hello, hope you're having a wonderful day. This is Josh Belk with Belk & Associates, and I thank you once again for listening to the Belk on Business podcast. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a couple different terms. We're going to talk about optimization and transformation in our business. And probably for most of you, you kind of understand what these words mean, but just going to kind of just give some thoughts about maybe times that we need to optimize in our business and maybe times that we need to transform our businesses altogether. Of course, businesses go through different phases, different seasons. In my business, there were for many years I kind of operated the same way. It's kind of a small solopreneur, one-person show, just kind of doing individual tax returns, that type of thing. And then my business started to change. And now over the past few years, and especially over the last about a year and a half, my business has really just transformed altogether and become something completely different. And so businesses in time, if they're around long enough, they will go through transformational stages. And so I'll talk about that a little bit more in the second half of this podcast. In the first half, we'll focus a little bit more on optimization. So some businesses are in a position where they just need to be optimized. So that's kind of a little bit more of here's what we have going on and making some minor tweaks. And then others are at the point they need to be transformed altogether. So they do need to make some larger, more material changes in their business. So optimization would include such things as improving productivity, finding ways to improve productivity, improving the customer experience, finding ways to be more efficient. A transformation is basically maybe completely changing service lines, going through changing product offering, or just going through and just transforming the business in a way foundationally, as far as from a structural end. Some businesses are huge transformations when it comes to they're just a small business and they decide to go public. That would also be a transformational type of a change. So optimization in a business is generally needed when we see one of a few different things. First of all, there's an opportunity to increase revenue from your existing services. So what you're doing now, you have an opportunity to maybe just get a little bit more out of what you have going on. And that may be in a service business, maybe increasing your fee structure a little bit. So just a minor change, something that would just tick up that top line revenue a little bit or incrementally. So not a huge change, but a minor change. Secondly, maybe an opportunity to improve productivity without increasing headcount. So you're going into your business and you're looking for ways to increase efficiency. So I'm not looking to hire more people. I'm just trying to figure out ways that I can get more out of the individuals that I have in the business. And this can come maybe through technology, maybe bringing technology into the business, maybe sometimes just replacing people. So I have people that are good, but I need to find people that are better, that can do things more efficiently, people that are more knowledgeable. So once again, just kind of a little bit more of a minor type of a change in the business. Next, reducing or eliminating unnecessary expenses. So you kind of go through, okay, this is what we're doing, and our revenue number seems to be good, and maybe we need to kind of maybe decrease our expenses. So we start to look at things that are maybe a little bit unnecessary. So do I really need to spend this much money in this area? So you go and find ways to try to minimize, or maybe even look at areas in your business that you can just eliminate altogether. We see sometimes downsizing in businesses. Maybe they decide to start having employees work from home instead of having a larger office, finding a smaller office. Maybe it's working on ways to decrease utility costs, things of that nature. So you're finding ways to reduce or eliminate certain expenses altogether. And lastly, on the optimization side is the customer experience. Maybe the customer experience just needs to be improved. So you're going to find ways, not necessarily that's going to add a whole lot of cost, but you just find ways to improve the customer experience. And that can be just it can just be in the smallest way. So if you have an office environment, maybe you find ways to make your office a more inviting place. Maybe you find ways to deliver content or bring value to your customers that doesn't really cost you much, but it's just improve the overall customer experience. Now, on the side of transformation, as I mentioned earlier, is kind of a larger change. So you're going through and you're making a change, maybe finding a new service, finding a new product, or just simply changing the bottom line structure of the business altogether. So a transformation of business comes, first of all, a business expands their service or product offering. So a situation where new opportunities may come along, or maybe they'll work with other businesses that complement their services and create a synergy for their clients. So they begin to maybe look at other businesses they can work alongside, and maybe that's a referral referral end. Maybe that's just simply working together, maybe starting up a new joint venture to be able to increase that top line revenue. So they begin to transform on the top line revenue. Secondly is looking at the digitization of their services or products, or creating new technology platforms. So they go through and they figure out what they're doing, and then they find ways to sell more by adding technology. And of course, technology in itself is transformational to most businesses. When I first started off in my career, and keep this pretty basic, most every business out there, if they had more than a couple employees, usually had a secretary or an administrative assistant that would answer the phones. And so that person would answer the phones, and they would get on and they would push buttons and direct that call to somebody else in the office. They would have a notepad there, and they would write down notes when somebody called in, and then put it on a person's desk. They would maybe sit down at a typewriter. Now we have technology that's pretty much eliminated a lot of those duties, and so technology transforms businesses. We have cell phones, right? It's transformed for all of us the way we conduct our businesses, and so businesses that have gone through and have added technology have been able to change transform their businesses. Whether with Apple, for example, Samsung, these companies that have transformed their businesses by offering new products. And then thirdly, in the transformational end, new business model or structure when what you're doing currently is no longer profitable. You think of, I'll mention Kodak, for example. Kodak never figured out how to transform their business. They kind of got stuck in an old model of cameras and film, and they never figured out how to transform their business. But you have other businesses out there that have transformed many times over. Mentioned Apple. It's transformed its business model many times through the years, and new products, new service offerings that a business may bring in. And then also a transformation can come through a structural end. So sometimes as a business grows, it moves from being a sole proprietor into maybe being a corporation, and it begins to change basically from the inside out. And if it gets to the point where maybe it's doing a public stock offering, then at that point, of course, it would be transformational as well. So business owners need to consistently be looking at ways to optimize their business, and then if the opportunity does arise, to be able to transform their business, to revitalize their business or keep their business going in perpetuity. So the most difficult business to transform is our own. That's why many times if we're in that point where what we're doing just isn't working, many times the optimization, we can kind of work on that. That's kind of a smaller, granular type issues. We're many times able to figure that out, but a lot of times we'll need to look outside of ourselves, and many times outside of our business, to bring people in to help advise us through the transformational stage. So we always should be asking in our business who can help us, and look for those people we can bring in to work alongside us to help move our business forward. Use your cabinet of advisors that you have in your life to help you in your business. Hope this brought you some value. Thank you once again. This is the Belk on Business podcast. I'm Josh Belk. Have a wonderful day.